Good morning, everybody, and welcome to today's Furman Football Weekly with head coach Clay Hendricks. Paladins coming off of a 24-21 win at ETSU, and the season finale is scheduled for a 3 p.m. kick this week at Mercer. A little bit of news from this morning. Billy Lewis was named the Stats Performed National Freshman of the Week for his defensive performance, which included an interception and a forced fumble among a handful of tackles he got as well. And I'm sure Coach Clay Hendricks will have some thoughts on that, plus some other things in his opening statement, and then we'll let Tom Van Hoy ask question number one. Coach?
Okay, Dan, all of you, appreciate you being here. Certainly really happy for our team to go to Johnson City and beat a really good East Tennessee State team in a tough football game, just one that we thought it would be. I think our guys believe we can go get it done, and made a few plays we hadn't made, throughout the year. Probably the first close to a complete game we've probably played all year. But just excited for them, and it took all parts. I thought offensively, defensively, and certainly special teams were a big part of that. And it was a little better locker room after the game. So. Again, I think did a great job preparing, like I think they have all year, which gave us a chance to go play well, and had a lot of guys play well. You mentioned Billy Lewis; he was our Player of the Week for our defense as well. Billy's just that guy. We talk about dependability and stuff around here, and incredibly bright. And from where he started when we started the year, I don't know where he was on the depth chart. He was way down there, and which that had to happen in a lot of spots. But he's just a guy that's made most of his opportunities, and really happy for him. But now excited, and I think the most encouraging thing, we can play a lot better, and we'll need to, but we can play a lot better, and which, I think is the things we've kind of been seeing out of this group. And we've certainly got our challenges at certain spots and certain aspects of what we do. But, again, just thrilled to get a win, and excited to go. Another great opportunity this week. Great opportunity, great challenge, all in one. And I know our guys will be excited to go play. With that, we'll take any questions.
Coach, can you take us through that final 7-18, the final drive, and the fourth down call for you?
Yeah, that was. Golly, that's one of those you love to have. We've had a bunch of those over the years. Those kinds of drives. Get the ball back 7-18. Don't have to give it back to them. Overcame a penalty, which I have a real problem with. We get a penalty there, backs up. We overcame it. There's some crucial runs, certainly some conversion plays. And then I think just we got to that point. They forced them to use all three of their timeouts. I think we're maybe at the 30. I just didn't want to kick field goal. I just didn't want to take the chance. You get a kick blocked, even though I had a lot of confidence in Ian. Would put you up by 6, and then for me it was 4th and 3. We make first down, the game was over, and I just asked Jesse, "You got something you like?" And he did. He liked the call he had, and great execution. And ultimately we got it in one of our best players' hands, which is what you want to do, and he won a one-on-one. I think he actually kind of won 2 of them, but he won the one-on-one. Really good throw, really good catch. Made the guy miss, got a first down, and we go to victory formation. So that's kind of how you want to do it. And again, against a team that had been, I think, maybe 3rd in the country in sacks, I thought we did a great job protecting all day. The one sack we allowed really was on the quarterback. I think Trey. I thought Trey had a heck of a day. Other than just a poor decision on the one ball he threw down the field. But for the most part, man, he was accurate and stood in there. And, again, I thought our guys protected well. We ran the ball well enough, I'm really proud of Trey. Trey really watched the last game and a half when you think about it. And, we didn't know till Tuesday about noon that Carson – we didn't know when he, wouldn't be available. So, we were going into the week preparation. We'll kind of see who practices the best, and that's what we'll do. And really proud of Trey the last couple of weeks, how he's practiced, things that you talk about you got to be better at. And, if you're going to be better at getting rid of the ball when you need to get rid of it, you got to practice it that way. And think Trey's a better athlete maybe than some people think he is. And, I think he's evolving like a lot of our team. And but, boy, he made a lot of clutch plays for us Saturday.
Coach, when East Tennessee scored twice in the third quarter, it would have been easy the way things have gone this year to kind of mailed it in right there. But talk about your team's response to that.
Well, we certainly had our challenges throughout the year, but I just think the effort and the focus, sometimes younger teams, when things don't go their way, I think they turn it down, but it certainly has an effect. I think it started a little bit with probably should have, Colton, as much as I love him, return him. I think probably should have kept that one in the end zone. He brought it out. We didn't get a very good return, and then I guess we're 3-and-outed, and then it kind of, you could, we've had a couple of times this year where it got away from us kind of at that point in games. And, we really defensively, gave, about 150 other yards on 3 plays. The first run, that Dwayne will tell you, we made a bad call, put our guys in a bad spot, but we still should get the guy on the ground. And then, we get beat on a double move, which should never happen. And then, the other one, kind of came out of coverage, and but no, I think, I think the drive for us to tie, I think maybe was a 90-yard drive. After I think we get a hold on a pretty good return. So no, I just think our guys kind of hung in there, kept believing, and we got in the fourth quarter tied, and got some good stops. Certainly got some turnovers, which was huge. I think, really, we got 3. It's almost like 4. When they went for it on fourth down the first series, that's almost like a turnover the way you view it. And, and for us to answer score right there was big. But no, I was proud of kids. They hung in there and found a way how to get it done. Mo made a big play on the pick, and disappointed we didn't punch in a touchdown there. Yeah, it's they've been fighting and working all year, and I never sensed anything different over there on the sideline, and I think we're kind of beyond some of that other stuff.
Coach, I think it's 3 games ago you made a switch at center. You moved Luke Pettit in there from guard. Luke being one of your more experienced offensive linemen, and obviously we had some issues as far as snaps go, but I noticed. Second half, you went back with Luna at center, kind of cleaned that up, it looked like. And I don't know, in the fourth quarter, it looked like, you guys were getting a surge in your running game. You weren't ripping off long runs, but it looked to me like, those guys really got it going. Did moving Luke back to guard, get him back at his regular position? I mean, those guys obviously were motivated with the game on the line, but it looked to me like your offensive line really kind of asserted itself in the fourth quarter.
I thought they were solid really all day. I think they've kind of been that way all year. I think people think, you don't run the ball well, it's all on those 5 offensive linemen blocking the 11 defensive players. We've got to be more productive at the running back position. I think a lot of times I like to say sometimes we're gaining the minimum, and we got to always block better. I think we can always do that. But no, a good observation, I guess it was a couple of weeks ago where, we're getting the floaters back there, and I remember VMI, maybe it was 5 or 6 or 7. I counted throughout the game, addressed it, and I think, I don't know, somebody asked me and said, we're working on it. I don't know what you do other than go to coach it up and try to keep doing it, and you got to do it when the game counts. And then I really only thought we had the one, really when he was in there, but I think at that point in time, Matt thought, hey, let's make this little move. And I think it's been Chris, redshirt freshman who started a bunch of games early in the year, still works it all the time. I think probably the challenge was for Luke. He hadn't repped as much at guard last week. We've kind of played with 6 guys up there because we've been trying to redshirt everybody all year. We have stayed fairly healthy up there. But no, I think that helped us a little bit. I think certainly, if quarterback's got enough to think about, he's got to think about catching the snap every time, but when he's not sure where it's going to be, then, it throws off the timing. And we hadn't had a lot of snaps on the ground, that type stuff. And it's like it always is. The bad snap we made the other day, I thought we had a chance to have a really big play, but obviously that didn't happen. But that's kind of what triggered that. And always trying to do stuff that's going to make us better. But that group's I think they've been really pretty solid all year. And yeah, I mean, we're as big and as long and as talented as we want to be. Probably not, no. And again, that is one of the few places we've stayed pretty healthy. We just didn't have little to no depth to start the year.
If this were in Hollywood, they would say you played against type, because the team reversed so many trends that have been in place. If I've heard you say once, I've heard you say 20 times, we've got to stop beating ourselves. This team is not as good as the last two, but it reversed to the form of having a positive turnover ratio, and it just had the look of a game in which you had that attitude of they're giving us hell, but we're going to figure out a way to win this game.
Right.
And do you think you just sort of finally tipped over the mountaintop?
You think you took a big step forward. Now, we'll see. You got to do it again the next week, but no, I totally agree. We've won a bunch of games like that over a lot of years here. I think Saturday, but we also have a lot of guys playing that hadn't really won games like that. This has really been an unusual group when you look at who we're playing with. I've gone back there. I always, at the end of the year, start looking at the production of our team. And I go individually, and, it's just there had been a lot of production because they hadn't played very much, across the board of the guys who have stats. I did look at this, Monty. I think in the first, one of the things we talked about in the first, it wouldn't be the first half, but in about the first half of the year, we're averaging between 9 and 10 penalties a game. Last half, it's been between 4 and 5. I think we had 14 turnovers in the first 6 games. I think we've had 5 in the last 4, and 3 of those were in one game. So I think, that's a trend. You want to see people get better as you go forward. And certainly, if you're not hurting yourself with penalties and turnovers, you got a better chance. And again, we got some turnovers. We're playing a group this week. I think they've got 28 turnovers. They've created 28 turnovers. I think we've gotten, is it maybe 12 now? I think we've got 12 on this. So you think about that. I don't know how many times they scored on defense. And, a lot of that's been in the right spot. A lot of it's playing good. It's probably a combination of both. But, no, I'm hoping we've taken that step forward a little bit. Because, almost all those guys that we're playing with will be back again next year. Well, they should be. And but I kind of see it, going, in baby steps. But, it's just like I said, the quarterback taking care of the ball. And sometimes, even when he took the sack the other day, okay, sometimes it's okay to take a sack and punt, instead of doing something you shouldn't do with it. So it's a process. And, to be able to go on the road and beat a really good team, I think maybe it makes it even more so. Maybe if you just – maybe it won a game that maybe wasn't as talented a group as they have. But I'm hoping certainly we can build upon that going forward.
Coach, Mercer this year has been pretty unbeatable. And we can take away the Alabama game this past weekend, but they have lost to Samford this year, which basically means that any team right now has a chance to come in and beat this team. But they've scored 35-plus points pretty much every game. What is your thoughts going into this one as you face a team that you're not projected to win, but you still have a fighter's chance?
Well, I'll say this about our league, and I said this several years ago when I think we were talking about the CAA, getting all these teams in. It's a different world when you play everybody every week. And, you look across the board. I think anybody can beat anybody. I think, when you look at this group, new staff came in, certainly didn't inherit, the cupboard wasn't bare. Had a really good defense returning. They built upon that. I think what they did, when you look at what he did, he's got a 1,000-yard rusher that he brought in as a D2 transfer guy. I don't know, added a fair number of transfers that has helped them. They've played great defense all year. I think they've been really good in the kicking game. I think, to me, where they got significantly better was in the offensive line with adding some guys, and the running back was huge for them. I think the other thing is this. I think our conference, when you look at it, have been almost everybody struggled offensively. I really think Western's probably the one team that you felt like could really hurt you in a lot of ways. Now they've lost their quarterback. And the young kid's playing pretty good too. But it's been, you look at this league, if you go back, you want to play it all over again. And I kind of thought this, play great defense, take care of the ball, be efficient offensively, and you're going to have a chance every week if you do that. And obviously we didn't do that every week. And we were hurt defensively for different reasons. But I think the other thing for them, my opinion, they got off to a fast start. I thought they had a favorable schedule to start the year, and it got them some confidence. They played well, and it got them some confidence. And then I looked at their game with Chattanooga, which was, that game was a big game early in the year. And Chattanooga's year started like our year started. They got hammered the first week by Tennessee. Then they played Georgia State. And you could just watch them. We're very confident. Mercer goes there, wins a close game, and you could just kind of see the momentum going forward. And they've just been, like I said, but they've played really good defense. They look like they've stayed pretty healthy throughout the year. I looked in our league. There's only two teams in our league that really have played with the same quarterback all year. And I think Citadel and probably Sanford. Everybody else has either been an injury deal or maybe they've been a little bit like us, where you kind of been trying to find the guy that gave you the best chance. And they've been that way offensively. But like I said, they just had so many opportunities because of the turnovers. I think they lead the country in interceptions. Then I noticed, 3 of the 4 top interception teams in the country are Southern Conference teams. So they feasted off people turning it over. I think East Tennessee was a 37-31 game. They scored 21 points, not on offense. They recovered a fumble for a touchdown. They ran a pick back for a touchdown, blocked a punt for a touchdown. And they've been really good on special teams. So, that's a pretty good recipe for success. And I think you get a little confidence with it. And obviously they've done a great job coaching them and assembling who they've got there. And they've been in some battles too. And the Sanford game, they turned it over crazy kind of early in the game and got behind. And that's really kind of what that game was about. But then, you watch Sanford, and then all of a sudden you turn around and see what they did at Chattanooga last week. So, better be ready to play every week. And I think also makes you think, if you go play well, I think we can beat anybody in this league. I really feel that. I felt that way all year. And even when we didn't win a game, we were competitive and put ourselves in a position. I told our team prior to this, you always say, a couple of plays. I really felt like the 2 weeks prior to Saturday, one play would have won the game for us, and so we're just trying to go be a little better and, keep pushing forward. And so we'll be excited to go play. It'll be a fun one to go play in.
Clay, in a season that's been a little taxing on your defense at times, just your thoughts on the year that Evan DiMaggio is having, leading the SoCon in tackles, and just continues to be a warrior for you game in and game out.
Yeah, Evan, golly, I'm obviously a little biased. I think Evan's the best player in the league with a lot of good defensive players. There are a lot of good defensive players in this league. I just think what he's done, leadership he brings. He is the, great student, great leader, tough, great player. Just you name it. And he lost Xavier there in front of him, who I thought was one of the better defensive linemen in the league. So he wasn't. We lost him earlier, and then we lost Luke for about 3 weeks in there, and they were kind of the 3 core guys, that we had going. But his leadership and the way he's played has just been phenomenal. He's playing the other 2 guys that are rotating in there with him are both freshmen. I think he certainly helped in their development. Ryan Earl's a guy. I thought Ryan had a heck of a game. I think the last 3 plays of the game, he had a TFL, a solo, an assist. Maybe the last 3 plays before they punted the ball to us, and at the end of the game. But I can't say enough about Evan.
But you talked about Trey Hedden and his development as a young guy, as a freshman. You had so many that have had to play, and some on the defensive line as well. I guess the good news is they've gotten a chance to play. Have you seen those young guys as they get their baptism under fire, so to speak, to get better as the year's gone on?
Oh, absolutely. Trey, obviously he's really talented. You can see that in him. He's got a lot of confidence. I say this, it's not like I'll walk around the building and look and see who's in here, who's watching tape. I may see him as much in here as anybody. He's in Coach Roper's office, is over by mine, so I see him over there all the time. So he's an eager guy, wanting to understand. There's just a certain amount of growth and maturity that has to take place. I'd say he's a pretty mature football player, but he's still a freshman. But he's got a lot of confidence. He's learned. He's continued. I think he's become a better practice guy. The attention to detail. There was things early in the year he wasn't taking a drop. And it threw the timing off. Not to mention it hurts the protection. Just little things that you just got to do over and over and over. And I just certainly Saturday was his, I think, best day at just attention to detail. He's always been able to make throws. He's always been able to do that, and he understands where he's going. And I think all young guys can have bad habits, and they have to learn. A lot of times you don't see it. Quarterback, you usually see it when they don't do it. So, and I don't know. I hadn't looked at that number lately. There's just so many of them. But it's been fun to kind of watch them. I've enjoyed. I enjoyed the way our record is. But I've enjoyed this group and had a great group of seniors, and don't have a lot of them. But we've played our best football last 3 weeks, our goal play our best game Saturday. I just told them there's no reason why we shouldn't be able to go play our best game. Now it'll be a big challenge, especially both sides of the ball, but especially that our offense because they have been so good defensively.
Coach, they actually Mercer leads the country in defensive touchdowns with 6 this year.
How many?
6.
Yeah, I thought it might have been, and I know they've had at least one I know they blocked at least one punt for a touchdown. I think they blocked 2 punts for touchdowns, maybe. So.
Yeah. My question is kind of with the quarterback situation there. It's sort of similar type of quarterback that Trey is, what they have, and with Neubauer. Can you just talk about the adjustments they've made? And I guess my question is, I guess it kind of minimizes the mistake that he can make a few more mistakes when you have a defense that does what they do.
No question. And I really felt like this. I felt like, even with the guys we lost a year ago, I felt like coming into the year defensively, I said we can ride our defense, take care of the ball, and then we just lost so many guys over there. And it took us 3 or 4 weeks, and we're still kind of fighting through some of that. But it took a few weeks where we didn't play real well. Their deal's a little different. They brought in a junior college kid, and then Neubauer kid, I think, is a true freshman. And they've a little bit like us, they've done it a little more in mid-game. There have been times where series, you got a different guy in there. So I don't know if there's been an injury. I don't know that. I think they're a little bit like us, just probably trying to find some consistency. Now, I think what's helped them, the running game, the running back, I think, has been really, really good. He's got right at 1,000 yards now. I know they've been better up front, but they have some balance in their offense. I think the 2 quarterbacks are a little different. One is probably more of a dual threat guy. I don't think they really try to run him, but he will run it a little bit more. So I don't know. And then I know Saturday, I think the young one played most of the game, and I would imagine in that game they probably tried to save a few guys, because at the end of the day, this week and next week is much more important to them than the Alabama game was. So, a little bit like East Tennessee had been. We thought we would see both guys, and actually we saw 3. Now, the one guy's truly a dual threat guy. And running game, pretty similar, similar kind of back. It's funny, their back looks like the number 3 at East Tennessee. So, but again, when you played as well as they played on defense, and always ahead, can get after the passer. Crazy defensive stats. I think on third down, I think maybe it's at like 27% they're allowing. Now I know they've struggled on third down on offense. So I think it's gonna be one of those games. Go play good defense, and I thought last week, unless there was a bunch of turnovers, there wouldn't be a ton of points scored. Because I think offensively, I think their statistics are a little better than ours. But I think if we can find a way to move the ball a little bit and score some points, we feel like we'll have a chance.
During this rough and tumble year, there have been an awful lot of players, particularly, say, on defense, particularly in the secondary, who you probably wouldn't have been dreamed they'd seen this much action. As you look ahead, nearing the end of this season, what will be the strength of this team next year?
Well, I'm hoping, I think you can look at it and, Ian Williams told us he's coming back for a 6th year. So I'm hoping the kick team's got a chance to be really good. I think we've been solid there all year. I think with the development of the quarterback position, I don't know. I think we got 8 of our 10 linemen we think will be back. I don't think we lose a single receiver. We got to be better in the run game. There's a few spots where, we got all of those tight ends. We all 4, and then Josh Burrell. I think Josh could probably be back in a week or two if we had a week or two. But we get all 4 of those guys plus him back. I think defensive, we hope to get Xavier back. We'll have to win a little waiver over one game. But we hope we could get him back. Obviously Evan DiMaggio will be big shoes to fill, and Luke Clark. But every single body else is back and played guys have still redshirted a bunch of guys, and we're Malachi Dobbins played almost 30 plays last week. I think it's the second game he's ever played in, but he was our backup. Because we held him. We lost Stone King for the rest of the year, about a few weeks ago. So it's just been kind of crazy how that's happened. But I don't know. I think we got a chance to be better everywhere. Now, we'll have to see. We need to have a great off season. We got to change. We got some good young bodies, but we need to develop them. But I think we got a chance to just be better everywhere, and I think that's kind of what our goal is going to be. And then, we have the ability, I think, now to maybe add a guy or two, which last year, the only guy that came here in January was Trey Head, because he was the only spot we had available. Everybody thinks we lost 41 seniors, and we had all those kids that graduated in December, but we didn't get scholarship money back at that time. So we didn't have. Now we've kind of planned to have a little money available, so if we can fill in a spot here or there where we feel like we need. And then now that's a challenge for us because our pool is significantly smaller than what everybody else deals with. But excited about that part of it.
When you have a win like you did this past weekend, is that kind of does that kind of lend more towards the developmental part of it and seeing it kind of in motion as from the season starting to now? Is that kind of what you were trying to see, maybe a little bit earlier, but now you're kind of finally seeing it?
Yeah, I think you are. I mean, like I said, you never can imagine you'd lose as many guys as you did. Also, didn't ever imagine we'd turn the ball over as much as we did. I've always said at the end of the year, for me, it's always based on did you maximize, who you had and who you got. And I don't think I'll be able to say yes because of a lot of those things. But where I don't know. I think good teams get better every week, and I'm hoping we go play our best game Saturday. Will it be good enough? We'll see. I don't know, but I do like the trend we're on, and everybody wants to. Around here we used to win in. I think every year, but I think of our 5 of the 8 years we've been here. Last weekend we're playing for the conference championship, and so that's where we want to be. We're not there this year. We're in a little different role, which has been. Our guys embraced that role last week and got to still have a little say-so this week. So I think our guys are embracing that role, and I think they'll be excited to go play.
There's kind of two schools of thought. Some some coaches feel that there's never any benefit from losing. Some people think that how you react to adversity is what shapes your character and makes you what you are. Nobody enjoyed this season, but do you think that this season, in redoubling the efforts, will make next season better?
Well, I certainly hope so. I mean, it's I've said this before, 2024 has been a tough year going back, back to last winter. Again, it's how you respond to stuff, and I've been really pleased how our kids have responded all year. I think, you watch our guys play, and there are a lot of people last week, I don't know how people would have played and I don't coach other teams, but you just watch our guys the way they played and competed, and have done that the last few weeks. We didn't always play our best. No, I'd be shocked if the adversity doesn't help us going forward. I know it's helped us this year, and we're going to come back. We're going to do the same things we always do, and I think it helps us maybe refocus a little bit as coaches. And when we kick off the new year, we're already talking about next year. We've been talking about next year for a couple of weeks. We're trying to send these old kids out in the best way we can and build. Again, we're already talking about a 25 championship. That's what we're kind of building for right now.
All right, Coach, I think that's all from the assembled media gallery here, so just up to you to deliver a final thought.
Well, again, I appreciate you being here. No, it's been all seasons are challenging. I don't care if you win in every game. This one certainly has brought about its own unique challenges, but incredibly proud of our kids and the way they work. The staffs continue to put our guys in a position where they can go be successful. And again, just looking for it to be a great opportunity and challenge for us Saturday to go to Mercer and play well and have a chance to go win. But that's certainly what we're planning on doing. We had a great start on Sunday, out here Sunday afternoon, and I'd be surprised if they don't practice really well this week. But again, we got to be able to go do it on Saturday. And I kind of like the trend. Hopefully we can build upon that and do what we need to do to go get a win.
All right, Clay, thank you very much. The kickoff at Mercer is scheduled for 3 p.m. on Saturday. It'll be available on ESPN+. The Furman radio broadcast via the Fan Upstate will begin with the Pepsi countdown to kickoff at 1:30. So we hope that if you can't make the trip, you'll tune in to Tom and David and me on the call. Thank you so much for your attention again this morning, and that'll wrap up this week's press conference. For Coach Clay Hendricks and all of us at Furman, I'm Dan Scott. God bless you, and so long, everybody.